and YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. Alright. So, number 2 is sign all current bills.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright. Minutes of June 4th and June 18th. Lisa, you said you didn't have the minutes ready yet.
Well, I
Or-
had pretty much finished the ones for June 4th, but I didn't have a chance to edit them and print them out. And I figured I'll definitely have the minutes caught up by the next meeting. I'm assuming it'll probably be a couple weeks from today.
Alright, so I'll table that. Number 4, sign the FY 25 encumbrance request form. The FY 25 article roll forward request form.
So I have the original copy of both of the forms, and I gave the board members each a copy. And I highlighted all the sewer department articles, and so I don't know if we're gonna roll forward every article except for that one, the sewer rebuild clarifier and equipment one that has no funds left in it.
Do you have a copy of the bills so we can sign them?
Oh, I have them right here, I'm sorry. The bills
Yeah, I
are-
mean, I'm assuming all these are ongoing projects, so we still gotta fund them. So it makes,
So, probably basically cross out the sewer rebuild clarifier one and then just roll the rest of them forward.
yeah, it just seems to me that one doesn't have any funds in it, so, for whatever reason we had to, go back to that, we'd have to bring another article forward to,
I'm not sure what the intent was there, that was something prior to me being here, Sean, that for whatever reason, made that article popular.
oh, okay. Yeah, so, other than that one that doesn't have any funds, I'm fine with, rolling all the, articles listed forward.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright. Discuss any possible line item transfer requests. So I believe, we have one for the $30,000 from wages, to the purchase service account. That's for the design service of the scum pump. I'm assuming the wages is because we had that position that didn't get filled. So, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I don't see any issue with that, because that's part of that 180.
I had enough money for the Progressive County pumps to change it out, purchase and change, and then we got claim bond involved, so they.
Yeah, that's part of that, like 187,000 or whatever that we're short on.
Right.
Okay.
I needed to move some money into that aspect of it.
Now, I can't remember, is that 30,000 for them on top of the 100-something for the pumps too, or?
34 for their services, and I believe the bid came in at somewhere around 75,
Okay.
somewhat over 100, 110, something like that.
Alright. So, I mean, pretty straightforward for that line item transfer.
Should I start planning on the installation? And I haven't been advised yet whether they've actually been awarded.
The bid or not. Alright. So I'll take a motion for the line item transfer for $30,000 from wages to the purchase services account.
So moved, I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Any final billing from, Time Bond as far as?
Yes, I did. I have the bills with a packet of bills to be signed today.
Okay,
Did you need to see it?
Alright.
It's the final, basically it's for the work they did in June on the skunk pump engineering. I did reach out to them over a week, well, a couple weeks ago to find out, you know,
balance, yeah.
what the,
I sent
because I guess the other thing, the CCTV, that one is completed and there's not gonna be any more bills on that one.
as far as I know, that
Yeah, there shouldn't be.
Alright. Number 6, discuss and vote on an application from Fountain and Sons Construction Company to put a sewer stub on Brimfield Road for a future side street subdivision and current gravel pit. Lisa, you said you hadn't heard from.
So I called him after the last meeting on the 18th, and I spoke to him, and he mentioned that they put off the paving project on Brimfield Road. He thought they weren't gonna do it till July or even later this year, and he said he wasn't gonna, he was gonna kinda wait and see, like, you know, he says he would probably fill out an application, but he was gonna wait. That's basically what he told me.
Okay, so I'd say, you know, until he turns that in, we wouldn't worry about putting it on the agenda.
Well, actually, he doesn't need to turn a plan in, because most times there's already stubs in the road. He needs to turn the plan in once he decides what he's gonna do when he hooks into the stub.
So, what we had discussed at the other meeting, because nobody knows anything about that line there.
And he said he was getting somebody, so if
Yeah, he
you
was-
wanna just give him permission with that condition that he has.
Right, so he had said he was gonna get the drawings after they figured out the depth and
Yeah.
all that. So, I had suggested he doesn't have to pay the application fee, but
Right now, yeah, okay.
fill out the application so we know the company that he's hiring
Mhm.
to add the stub. And then we at least have a file, cause say
It's there.
it's there, say 5 years down the road,
Mhm.
he sells the property or somebody else is doing it. At least we already have a file and we're not doing this all over again, going, you know, trying to figure out where the stub is. And then, number 7, discuss and vote on the sewer connection permit for 109 East Road.
So basically, I haven't gotten, they haven't refiled the permit. I gave you copies of the letter I sent out. I called, for Lone Oak Enterprises, the lady's name is Cassie. I called her after the last meeting to let her know that her permit wasn't approved because it didn't have the required documentation. Left her a voicemail, never received a response, so I wrote that letter to her, that, you have a copy of that letter dated June 24th, and as of this morning, I have not received a copy to, a response to that letter, so there's no permit to be voted on at the meeting today.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd say till they turn in another complete permit, same thing, I wouldn't.
I'm wondering if there's some way to maybe keep like, I don't know, you know, to see if, to be able to tell if they ran a lateral all the way up to a foundation, if there's any way to tell, like, you know, whether they did that or not.
Well, the building inspector, before they let anybody move in, he could always check on that. if it's
Yeah,
tied in.
because the thing is, I never received a the documentation that's required with the permit, and like I said, I have not received a response to the phone call or the letter that I sent out.
So one of the things it just dawned on me now that you mentioned the building inspector, I'll check with them, cause I don't know if they bother checking with us to see if like a sewer permit was pulled when they do like the building inspection, the occupancy permit, or they just, look and go, oh yeah, it's on sewer, town sewer and water.
I think Bill, the current building inspector, does it the same way, but I know the previous building inspectors, I had people come to me and file a sewer connection permit saying that the building inspector wouldn't give them a permit to build unless they were approved for, like, if the house was gonna be on town water or town sewer, unless they were approved for the water and sewer connection that, so I'm not sure I'm assuming the new building inspector still follows the same policy, but, when she called me up, that permit I got like a month ago there, the one that was, the board didn't approve at the last meeting. She called me up and she thought she had already filed a sewer connection permit. She keeps talking about a check for $750, and I'm telling her that's not our sewer connection fee. And I even went in the file and looked when I had her on the phone. So I had sewer connection permits on file for 119 and 129 East Road, but not for 109 East Road, and I'm telling her I do not have a permit on file for the third house that you're building up there. And she says, well, I'm pretty sure I filed the permit back in the fall, and I says, well, I don't, and then I says, well, if you gave a check for $750, is that for the water connection permit? And she called me up to tell me that,
It was for the water?
and I says, no, the $750, that's for water. I think that's their current connection fee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the only thing I'd say is like on that, I'll just double check with the building department, make sure that, they, in case this person did tie in to the sewer without getting a permit, make sure that the building department isn't gonna, sign off on it, knowing that they hadn't permitted the sewer connection. 'Cause at that point, then we'll know, cause in order for them to do anything with the property, they're gonna have to turn in that permit. They
Well, I mean,
can't
if-
sneak around it.
If it's not connected to town sewer, then the building inspector can't issue an occupancy permit.
Right, but that's my question is, does the building inspector make sure, especially the current, we got a new building inspector, yeah, they could see that, there's a sewer drain going out of the, foundation, but are they checking to see that permit was actually, if they got a permit to be connected to the sewer? Because what's to stop them from connecting to the sewer without getting the permit? Building inspector isn't following up on that and issuing them an occupancy permit, then they just, connected to the sewer without getting a permit.
Well, I mean, going forward, after that happened, if somebody comes to my office, and I don't care who it is, and they wanna file for a sewer connection permit, and they don't have the required documentation attached to it, I will not accept the permit.
Yeah, it'd be easier to
And
just.
I will tell them to come back when they have the documentation.
Yeah, that seems easier than,
I mean, if someone shows up and they fill out a permit and they say, well, I'm gonna, email you my documents,
Well, I would tell them even, because they're gonna have all the documents and the check. So I would tell them, you know, if they're emailing stuff, email it all as one packet and either drop off the check or, you know, however they're sending the check. Instead of, you know, oh, here's the application, I'm turning in person, and then I'm gonna email all this stuff. It's,
Well, I mean, if the point is that application did have a check attached to it, but going forward, even if they have a check, I will not
Right.
accept it unless I have all the documents.
yeah,
that
like I
need
said,
to
I'd tell people to
with the
just turn
permit.
it all in all at one shot, because then we're not, you know, oh, they're missing this, or, you know, it's making more back and forth for you than anything. So, number 8, Ralph's report.
Operation and maintenance, guys, well, we correcting what we can correct when it happened, we just put sealing one of the pumps. Primary pumps, I have to talk to Jim about ordering and getting those in. Scum pump replacement projects, ongoing, need to set up the schedule for the installation as soon as I find out that they've been awarded, officially awarded for the project, and, start that.
All right. Number 9, Lisa's report.
So basically, I contacted the vendors that I felt we might, you know, we would have an FY '25 bill remaining, and I did get a lot of the invoices that have, there were some that got signed last week, and I did list 6 vendors to encumber for. One of them I can probably cross off the list, JM Transfer, because I received the invoice yesterday afternoon, and it's with the bills that are being signed today. So I'm waiting on the electric bill from EDP Renewables. I'm expecting to receive 3 more June invoices from Pace Analytical, because I did reach out to them to find out how many more invoices would have and how much they would be, because typically what happens is the person that generates the invoices usually does them like maybe anywhere from a week and a half to 2 weeks after the lab testing is done, so I encumbered for that. I put down an estimate for the water district because I reached out to them and I have not received a response from them, and I went by the amount of the highest bill we got from them, and for that pump station. And I'm also expecting an invoice from the new phone system. They come through the selectman's office, and then they give us,
Yeah.
I put down $73.50 because that's what it is for the 3 phones. And then Primo Brands is the bottled water, and used to be Crystal Rock, and I put down $10. Is usually no more than 2 cases of water delivered in 1 month. So it's usually no more than like $10 a month for them, so, and unless, that's what I have that, will need to be encumbered, because I understand that she has to have this list by tomorrow, by July 9th, and I don't know if there's anything.
We also have AT&T for a month.
So the next AT&T bill is gonna be fiscal year '26, cause it goes through July 15th, so the next one is gonna be fiscal year '26. And the same thing with the National Grid bills and the,
All right. Anything else, Lisa?
I mean, that's basically like I said, I hope I didn't miss anything. I don't wanna have to do an article at the special town meeting to pay a fiscal year
Yeah.
25 bill.
Yeah, here's the hoping. Number 10, comments and concerns?
I have a question. Lisa, on your billing, for the water department, are they pretty consistent in what they're pumping out, or?
It's pretty consistent. It's usually, I mean, for quarterly period, it usually ends up being, I don't have the figures in front of me, but it's pretty consistent. There's no huge variation, like where, it's usually like, few 100,000 gallons that gets,
So what do we actually bill them quarterly?
so their bills tend to run around $4,000 a quarter. So the last bill, it was an estimated bill because Jim wanted me to finalize the FY 25 billing before the end of June. So I did an estimated bill based on the previous bill. So it's typically, it's around $4,000 a quarter that they get billed. I mean, I don't have a breakdown of all their bills for,
Do you know how often they pump, Ralph?
Well, they backflush, I think, daily.
Oh, daily, okay. And that doesn't bother your system at all?
And I see a blip on the graph, that's all I know they're doing.
As long as there's no problems.
The only thing I had, under comments and concerns, I was thinking about it after we kinda updated the permits. Couple of things I thought of. I don't know if we should put like a checklist of all the required things. You look most places, the permits, I know it's like written in the descriptions, but most of them it's like a short checklist of the required documents. So didn't know if we should add that to it, just to kind of simplify it for people turning in the permits. And the other thing, and I don't know if other departments do it, I know when I worked in transportation with the insurance certificate, it stated what your coverages had to be. Because like right now the permit just says insurance certificate. So all you know, this contractor could have, $1,000 of coverage. So
well, I know Dave told me the water district, I think, it's like $1 million.
yeah, and that
minimum.
seems like the standard, because I know like trucking, we had to have, $1 million minimum coverage. We had to show workers' comp cover. We had to show general liability, the auto, which obviously just because it's trucking. But we had to show they had workers' comp coverage. We had to get the coverage amounts. The other thing that, and I don't know if with contract, I gotta imagine it's similar. We used to require that, or companies that we worked with would require that company to be listed as a certificate holder. So then, say somebody goes out and purchases the policy to run from July to next year, and 3 months in they cancel the policy, we would get a letter saying this person canceled their policy. Because it dawned on me, what's to stop somebody from purchasing a policy
Right.
to do the work to get the permit, and as soon as the permit's issued, they stop paying on that policy, and now they're working on the sewer line with no insurance coverage. I don't know if it's, like I said, I'd have to find out if, because I used to do it with transportation, if that's just kind of a transportation market thing, or that follows through with
I think it would be for anybody that wanted to, if you want to do that, go ahead, because you're right, we don't know.
Yeah,
Taking
that-
a chance all these years.
Yeah, and it was just one of the things I thought of just because I used to have to deal with it all the time. It's like, you know, you get some sketchy you hear all the time sketchy contractors, so, you know, I'd hate to have it that, you know, somebody messes up a line and, you know, no coverage and we have no recourse and we're totally footing the bill. You know, we already have one that
Right.
we're in legal with right now, so,
Right. Do you wanna break something up to?
yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like look around, you know, on other sewer departments, what their permits look like and kinda steal ideas from them and then I'll, yeah, we'll still run with our current one obviously, but I'll
Since you've
send
had
out
all
another
this
draft.
experience, maybe some people in the other sewer departments haven't, so don't let that stop you.
Right, well, like one of the things I was gonna look at is like the cities, cause you know the cities have
Right, Eric, yeah.
you know, they have their own legal that works for the city, you know, not like
Right.
us, that's, you know, we're contracting out to a firm, they got somebody that's doing this all day long and, you know, they got all their, all that stuff figured out, so I figured I'd start looking at like the cities first and then some of the smaller towns and go from there and maybe come up with another draft,
If you
to
have
look
the
at.
time, you're welcome
Yeah,
to,
yeah, I mean, I won't, probably won't have it for the next meeting, but,
whenever you get to.
you know, probably next month or
Of
so. I
course, a
can come
town
up
the
with
size
something.
of Warren can't afford to have full-time legal staff, but
Right.
like the cities like Worcester and
Well, like I said,
Springfield.
when I worked in Springfield, we had to, when we moved our company over there, just calling the electric company to switch who the bill's name was into, we had to arrange the electrical inspector to come inspect the property before the electric company would just, place already had power, that's all they were doing was switching the name on the bill. Still had to have the electrical inspector come and inspect.
Wow.
So, like, you know they have it figured out,
Yes.
so, if they go that far.
Right.
But yeah, it might take me a month or so, but, you know, it's not anything we're in a rush, it's just kinda something that dawned on me. Oh. Unless you have anything?
When do you wanna meet again?
Um,
Wednesday, can you do Wednesdays?
actually Wednesdays work better for me, cause I
think
don't.
we just did today because of tomorrow being the deadline. and
Yeah, and Wednesdays work better for me because I usually work overnight Monday and the Tuesday, so I've been
Okay.
awake since 4 o'clock yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So I think that would bring us to the 23rd. Would be
Okay, that'll be fine.
either the 23rd or the 30th. I don't know if I know we usually do 2 a month. I don't know if we want to do.
Usually the second, the fourth, but the way the bills have been coming in, what do you wanna do, the 23rd or the 30th?
The 23rd would probably, either the 23rd or the 30th, I won't be,
Cause you don't wanna
Taking-
have to keep running in to sign those bills.
well, the problem with that is unfortunately the bills come out, like the one for the phone comes out on the 15th. Then on the 23rd, you have the credit card one, and then on the 25th, you have the Republic one. But I don't get those bills immediately on the date they come out, cause they
Right.
email them to me, and a lot of times I get the bill, it'll be like 2-3 days after it comes out. So like the phone one, a lot of times, like, and of course, I don't work on Friday, so if they send it to me on Friday, I won't get it till Monday, so, or if they send it Thursday late in the day or something.
Well, I mean, do we want to? I mean, usually the 2nd and the 4th. So do we want to keep with that?
As long as you don't, as long as there's no meeting on the 16th, cause I'm gonna have to take that day off. I did send an email about that. So as long as it's not on the 16th.
Yeah, so 23rd, and we'll do 10 a.m. Or do you want to do a different time?
Can you do it earlier?
Yeah. What time works for you?
Can you do it 9, 8:30, 9? Depends on when you get into work and,
Yeah, I could do 9.
okay, 9 AM on the 23rd.
Alright.
And if you can't, just give a holler.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't have an issue. Alright.
So that
Do we
way,
have to sign some other things, or do you just have to sign the ones for the,
I think the article roll for it just says department head and same thing
okay,
with
so
the
you just
encumber.
have to do them. I just don't wanna leave and it's, oh,
Yeah. Alright, so I will take a motion.
so
to-
the, article roll forward form has the department head name and department head signature, so would that mean that Ralph needs to sign it, or
I did sign the one with, Chris upstairs.
the one for the transfer? Cause I'm talking about the article roll forward request form to roll the articles
Alright.
forward.
Oh, I don't know.
And then the one for the encumbered funds, it also says department head signature on it.
So I guess I'd mean Ralph can sign them.
I think if he already signed it, then you just sign it.
Yeah,
If they want to do it at the board, and then he's in charge of it, so he signs it, then you'll sign it, cause you're the chairman.
alright. Alright, so I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting at 10:32.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.